All right, everybody, want to welcome Kerry. So Kerry is a web strategist for AnchorWave, and if you don't know, AnchorWave is the agency that I started in 2003, back in a land before Facebook, before Google was a thing, starting it out of the bedroom of the house I was renting with like 5 other friends, and it's grown into this amazing company with amazing people. And in 2020, AJ, my business partner, and I were able to step both feet out of the agency to focus full time on Agency Coach. And in the last couple of years, that's been led by our amazing leadership team. Karrie came to join us within this last year. And Karrie, we're here to celebrate your amazing month that you had in August. Just for the people who are, keeping track by the numbers here. So what did you finish August out at?
44,000 in accruals, a culmination of some really great activities of getting in front of and trust building with potential clients, I think is what happened. And the trust goes from the relationships. So I'll give an example. Lily, Lily's our CEO, and she's involved in some amazing networking groups herself, WPO being one of them. And relationship building and spreading the word about what agency or what AnchorWave is doing in our community is where Lily gets to go out and talk to other individuals and business owners. And so she's relationship building over there, trust building with those monthly connections that she's making with other business owners. And then the trust for Lily to hand off a connection for somebody who says, hey, I am raising my hand for talking to your agency about what it looks like to build a marketing hub with you. And Lily took that trust and listened and handed it off to me. And so our team, between our office coordinator and myself, were able to get in front of them for an ID and take all of that great information and process it to a playbook and propose what we can do. And in that case, that was a big win for me because there's trust building long before I have that first initial discussion with the client. Until we get to the point where we close and hand off to the team. So
$44,000 in new business booked. Your first year at AnchorWave, selling for us, which is really cool. Having the perspective of selling myself, AJ doing a lot of sales, and then building our sales team. Getting to the point where you've had such a great month in your first year is an excellent sign. Very awesome to shed so much light and care on the team that has supported you to do that. It's by no means a solo effort for sure, but definitely want to commend you for being able to take the system, the machine that's been built in AnchorWave and play into it, use your strengths to have such an amazing month. So well done and congrats.
Awesome. Thank you so much. Yeah, I do reflect on that month, and it's definitely one of those glaring points that the machine works, like the team works. We have systems in place where we're supporting each other, weekly coaching calls with John, who's overwhelmingly positive and just so optimistic and giving all of the feedback, coaching around continued coaching and coaching and coaching and coaching on the ID and dialing into really targeted questions that are going to help in the proposal. I think just that system in and of itself is making big differences in my numbers. I can tell that for sure. So while, yes, I'll take some credit for it, but it doesn't happen without the team and the coaching and the ongoing support and reflecting. We're always looking back at the proposals and the IDs and seeing what went great. Where did we miss, what could go better next time, those types of things.
So just so people have a little bit of a kind of backstory understanding, could you share just a little bit about what you were doing before coming to AnchorWave?
A little bit of everything, guys. Mike, to be fair, I have a background in public health. That's what I've studied and worked in local public health agencies, everything from client services, delivering nutrition education, which requires a lot of open-ended questions and coaching with people in a completely different format than selling digital marketing and websites. But a lot of that listening, those skills took place there too. And then fitness coaching. I am also a fitness coach. So standing up in front of people and telling them what to do is something that I practice weekly too, which is, can be really fun and rewarding. It takes lots of preparation and getting out of your own way in order to do that. So I think some of those skills have lent themselves to some success with AnchorWave as a web strategist. And then during COVID, I'm also a military spouse and a mom. So I think those rolling with the punches and going with the unexpected, as we all did during COVID, and just sort of realigning our targets on what our goals are. And I stepped away from working full time in public health and thought, I really want to know more about the digital space. I want to know more about programming, web design. And I decided to take a boot camp course at University of Arizona and optimize some of my time by learning new skills. And that's how I found AnchorWave after that. I was like, this is the perfect culmination of all the things that I want to do. I want to work with people. I want to help them. I want to help foster businesses and grow in my community and have interpersonal relationships where I get to ask targeted questions and learn about people's goals and desires and help them get there. And I would not have thought selling websites and digital marketing packages was in my future. Honestly, had no idea that this would be where I would find myself in 2023, but I couldn't pick a better place to be.
That's awesome. Yeah, I love that. I mean, it sounds like your experience with web and digital marketing until taking that boot camp course was not very deep.
Not very deep. That's why I did it. I just had this curiosity and time between moving to new locations. We were in Colorado, we moved to Arizona, and I thought this is really where I want to develop some skills and learn more about. And in that time, I was really still thinking public health. We were on the tail end of COVID, and there's digital dashboards up for every local public health agency about how data is coming from hospitals and schools in, being aggregated and published out there for all of us to run our daily lives based on some of these numbers, if you will, at that time. And I was very curious. I was like, how are we doing this? I know there's public health dashboards out there that exist, but I really wanted to learn more about the data management and collection and posting and putting them out there on websites. But little did I know I would find myself here. I learned a ton. It's like, it's a ton of information. They say it's like drinking out of a fire hose when you go through a boot camp like that. And it really was scratching the surface, but opened my eyes to a whole new industry and world.
Yeah, that's awesome. I love hearing your story because what's common, is I'd say this is probably top, 5 or so things that come across to us from agencies that are looking to grow is they want to know, one is like, how can I grow and how can I hand off sales to someone else that's not me? Because a lot of times someone who's any good at selling web or digital marketing probably is their competitor, right? They're the owner of some other business. And so it doesn't immediately make sense how you can find other folks to enroll them into helping that out. And the other thing that we'll hear a lot is, well, if I do find someone, they need to have like a really deep understanding of digital marketing before I can invite them into to my company. And we've seen time and time again, I think you're perfect living proof of the fact that in the right system, in the right context, that someone could, you said a few keywords. You said that you care about people's results, right? And you want to help people, and you have an interest in using web and digital marketing to do that. And that is really that's the ticket to entry, in my opinion.
Yeah, I would not have needed that boot camp course in order to be successful as a salesperson in this space. That was I think just kind of a fluke that happened in that order. I could have landed myself here, I believe, with the amount of curiosity for businesses helping reach their goals and the just curiosity to ask questions of businesses and knowing I didn't know anything about digital marketing. That is not taught in coding boot camp. That has been very much, I'm learning from our team a tremendous amount about how we optimize all of the tools in our digital marketing toolbox to help those businesses reach their goals. And it's all about curiosity, connecting the dots, and painting a very clear picture for the client. They don't want to know, in my opinion, not every client wants to know the nuts and bolts about how it's done. They want to know how we're going to get them the results that they're asking for. And that telling that story and helping them see their vision from the ID to the playbook is what's led itself, I think, to this success here.
That's awesome. I think that's a perfect transition to one of the questions I had, which is like, what has your experience been in using that two-step sales process, the ID and the playbook, to both get on board, but also to achieve the results you have in terms of closing sales?
Well, my most recent experience in closing sales was, I mentioned I am a fitness coach, but I was also an ambassador, so a salesperson at a gym. So selling gym memberships is not quite as in-depth as selling websites and digital marketing services, but you're still listening. There's not a two-part process necessarily, but from the moment a prospect walks in the door or you have a connection over the phone, you're taking notes and you're listening, and we're selling the experience, and you're selling the top-notch level of service that they're going to get. And not necessarily a two-step process in that case. And I'm hoping to close the deal before they leave the gym and they walk out a brand new member and ready to go take some fitness classes. But yeah, the two-step process that we use at AnchorWave is so critical to understanding where they are, where they want to be, and then we can collect that information and then share it in a very thoughtful, logical manner. And so that time between the ID and the proposal is critical for us to gather all of the information, but setting the tone for the client in that first initial discussion where we share that with them. I frame the whole conversation. We have a very unique two-step process. You're going to get a chance to meet with me at least 2 times before we come to some conclusions and take the next step, but making sure that they understand that they're along in this process too, and it works.
Awesome. Well, last question for you. For those that might be watching and are looking for like the one tidbit or the one advice, what advice would you have for someone who is looking to get more from their business and be better at sales?
Network, get out there, meet people. Don't be afraid to ask for that meeting and have some really thoughtful tidbits to share in those networking meetings that makes them want to come back for more. And when you call them back and invite them, you've made a really good first impression at that meeting, or even a couple meetings that you've been in their BNI or some sort of networking group with. But get out there and talk to people. I think that really helps a ton, filling the pipeline.
Awesome, Kerry. Well, I want to give you a huge congratulations for an awesome month. I know that there are more to come. Those of you guys watching the video here, be sure to give Kerry some words of encouragement and congratulate her by dropping some comments or hitting the like button for sure. But Kerry, thank you so much. I'm just really grateful for what you've brought to AnchorWave and the energy you've brought there. I know that this is just the beginning of more big things for you.
Thanks so much, Mike. Thanks, everybody.